Hey everyone, and welcome. So today, we are tackling an absolute giant of world literature. I mean, this is a poem that for over 700 years has fascinated, terrified, and totally inspired its readers. We're going to take a journey into the masterpiece that literally mapped the afterlife, Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy. But let's kick things off with a question for you. What if you had a map of the afterlife? I'm talking about a detailed guide to what happens after we die, one that lays out all the consequences of our choices and shows us the path to ultimate truth. Well, believe it or not, that's exactly what Dante created. You can think of it as a kind of spiritual GPS for the human soul. So, here's our game plan for this journey. We'll start with the poem's beginning, which is, you'll see, shockingly relatable. Then we'll get to know Dante, the man, the exiled poet. After that, we're off on a grand tour of the afterlife itself. And finally, we'll look at the poem's incredible legacy and ask the big question, why does this 700-year-old epic still matter so much today? All right, section 1. The poem kicks off with, and I'm not exaggerating, one of the most famous opening lines in all of literature. Midway upon the journey of our life, I found myself within a forest dark. See, it doesn't start with gods or epic battles. No, it begins with a feeling that is so deeply, profoundly human, just being lost, confused, and having absolutely no idea which way to go. And that's the genius of it, isn't it? Dante just grabs you right from the start, because he's not hitting you with some complicated theology. He's starting with a feeling we all know. That dark wood? I mean, that's the midlife crisis, right? It's that moment of deep, paralyzing uncertainty. It's the feeling that you've just completely lost your way. We've all been there. Okay, so who was this guy who felt so completely lost? You know, to really get the journey, we have to understand the traveler. Dante Alighieri himself. And he wasn't just some scholar locked away in a tower. Oh no, he was a man whose personal pain, his political anger, and this incredible transformative love, all of it fueled this masterpiece. So, have a look at this. Dante was born in Florence, and his life was basically turned upside down when he got exiled for political reasons back in 1302. And get this, he would never see his beloved city again. It was during this long, bitter exile that he wrote the Divine Comedy. You see, the whole poem is really the journey of a man trying to find his way back home, and not just to Florence, but to God. And his guide, the memory of Beatrice, who for him was way more than just a childhood crush. She was his symbol of divine grace. And that journey takes him on, well, the ultimate tour of the afterlife. So buckle up, because we're about to travel through the three realms that Dante so vividly mapped out for us: hell, purgatory, and paradise. Now, this isn't just some fantasy trip. It's a really sophisticated diagram of the human soul's potential for sin, for redemption, and for ultimate union with the divine. Our first stop, hell, Inferno. This is a journey straight down, a spiral deep into the very heart of sin itself. It's a place of complete darkness and total despair, where Dante, guided by the great Roman poet Virgil, has to face the true nature of evil head-on. The sign hanging over the gate of hell is probably one of the most chilling lines ever put to paper. Abandon all hope, ye who enter here. Whoa. But this isn't just to be scary. It points to a really deep psychological truth. You see, in Dante's vision, hell isn't just a place of punishment. It's where a soul's worst choice becomes eternal. The souls here aren't just punished for their sins. They are punished by them over and over forever. Now, Dante's hell has this brilliant moral logic to it. It's laid out in 9 circles, going deeper and deeper, and the sins get worse as you descend. Up top, you've got the sins of passion, what he calls incontinence, things like lust and gluttony. Go a bit lower, and you find violence. But way, way down at the very bottom, in a frozen lake, that's where you find fraud and betrayal. So why are those the worst? Well, for Dante, the absolute worst thing a person can do is misuse what makes us most like God, our reason. Betrayal is a cold, calculated sin of the mind, and that's why it's frozen solid at the very center of hell. Okay, after all that chilling darkness and hell, we finally come out the other side blinking in the light. Welcome to Purgatory. The entire vibe shifts here. This isn't a place of eternal punishment at all. It's a place of cleansing, of growth. This is the realm of second chances, where souls are actively working to become better. So imagine Purgatory as this massive mountain that souls have to climb. It has 7 levels, or terraces, and each one is for working off one of the 7 deadly sins. Pride, envy, wrath, All of those. But here's the crucial difference. In hell, souls just suffer. They're passive. Here, they are active participants in their own redemption. They are literally climbing their way to freedom. Finally, after the long climb up Mount Purgatorio, Dante reaches the top and ascends into paradise. And this is a huge moment because this is where his first guide, Virgil, who stands for human reason, can't go any further. Now, Beatrice, who represents divine love and faith, takes over as his guide. And this is so important because paradise isn't some physical place with clouds and harps. Nope. It's an unimaginable, non-physical state of pure light, incredible music, and absolute spiritual bliss. So Dante's journey through paradise is really a trip through 9 heavenly spheres. And with each one he passes, everything gets faster, brighter, more beautiful, more harmonious. It's not a journey from point A to point B. It's a journey of deeper and deeper understanding. With Beatrice as his guide, he learns to see the universe not just with his mind, but with love, getting closer and closer to a state of perfect spiritual fulfillment. And the whole thing, this massive 3-part epic poem, ends with this one breathtaking line. Dante finally gets a glimpse of God, and in that instant, he understands. He sees that the ultimate force driving everything in the entire universe, from the planets in the sky to his own personal journey, is the love that moves the sun and the other stars. Just wow. So Dante completes his personal journey. But for his poem, the journey was really just getting started. Let's talk about its absolutely staggering impact and how a book written by an exiled poet 700 years ago literally, and I mean literally, changed the world. Okay, to get this, you have to understand something. Before Dante, if you were writing anything serious, theology, philosophy, epic poetry, you wrote it in Latin. That was the language of the educated, the elite. But Dante made a choice that, for his time, was completely revolutionary. He wrote his masterpiece not in Latin, but in his local Tuscan dialect, the language you'd hear in the streets, in the marketplace, the language of ordinary people. And in doing so, he proved that everyday language could be used to express the most profound, beautiful ideas imaginable. And that one single defiant act was so unbelievably influential that today, Dante is known as the father of the Italian language. Seriously, he didn't just write a great story. He took a regional dialect and elevated it into a national language, basically giving a voice to an entire culture and helping to shape the identity of a nation that didn't even exist yet. Okay, so let's get to the big question. Why should we, here, now, in the 21st century, bother reading this really dense, medieval theological epic? The answer is simple. Because if you look past all the complex allegory, it speaks directly to the timeless truths of what it means to be human.
I mean, just think about these themes. Searching for meaning when you feel totally lost? Check. The idea that our choices actually matter and have real, lasting consequences? Yep. Believing in the power of love to redeem us? For sure. And how about a fierce critique of corrupt politicians and hypocritical leaders? Sounds pretty familiar, right? And maybe most importantly, that enduring hope that even when you're in the darkest of places, there's always a way to find the light. These things are just as relevant today as they were in 1321.
So, I'll leave you with this thought. Dante gave us this incredible framework for looking at a life, our flaws, our struggles to get better, and what we aspire to be. So if you were to write your own personal divine comedy, what would you find? What makes up your personal hell, your own tough uphill climb of a purgatory, and your own transcendent paradise? As Dante showed us, that journey is absolutely timeless.